My phone buzzed at 2 a.m., but when I answered, I heard my wife say, "Please come pick me up. My car won't start, and some guy just tried to rob me." She was terrified, and I immediately said, "Coming, babe." I ran out the door, driving to the hospital she worked at. I pulled into the parking lot, but I didn't see her car anywhere. I reached for my phone, but when I felt my pocket, it wasn't there. I forgot it on the bed. The only other person in the parking lot was a young girl in her car, and I started to get worried. Oh my God, did she get kidnapped? I ran over to the girl. "Excuse me, did you see my wife? She said she was in danger." The girl looked scared. "Oh my God, someone just tried to rob me too. My boyfriend's supposed to be here any minute." I started freaking out. I ran into the hospital and saw her co-workers. "My wife just got kidnapped out there. Please, we have to call the police." They just looked at me weird. "What are you doing?" "Call them." Your wife isn't working tonight. Are you sure it was her?" I stood there confused. I used their phone to call her, and when she picked up, she was screaming, "I knew you were cheating on me." I was so confused, but then it hit me. I went back outside to the girl. I asked to see her phone, and when I checked, I saw she accidentally dialed my number. We were both in shock, and I rushed home. My wife was crying, and I begged her to believe me. She heard me say, "Coming, babe," before I left, and was beside me the whole time. She started calling divorce lawyers, threatening to leave me, but then suddenly came home smiling, saying sorry for not believing me. Because while she was at work, someone said, "Did you hear about that girl who accidentally called someone's husband to pick her up, and that idiot actually showed up?" My client's ex-wife wanted full custody, and she had 2 weapons. Her 7-year-old son and 9-year-old daughter both claimed their father abused them, but not just spanking. When the investigators questioned them on record, the 7-year-old said his father dragged him into the garage by his hair, then locked him in there overnight in the freezing cold. One tear rolled down his cheek at the perfect moment. The 9-year-old testified that her father would lock the bedroom door, make her take off her clothes, and touch her while telling her it was their secret. It was the kind of abuse that puts you in prison for 20 years, and I knew we'd lose. He kept saying he was innocent. I nodded and took notes, but I didn't believe him. Until that night I was reading through the interview transcripts at home. I got to the last page where the lawyer said, "We're done here," and the court reporter was packing up. Then I saw one final line she'd typed before closing her laptop. The 7-year-old turned to his mother in the hallway. "Did I hit my marks?" I stared at those 5 words. Did I hit my marks? Before law school, I spent 3 years in LA auditioning for commercials and bad sitcoms. I'd said that exact phrase on every set I ever worked. Why would a 7-year-old know that? I called my paralegal at midnight. "I need the mother's bank records, every transaction, tonight." She called back 2 hours later. "There's someone named Deanna Reeves. She's been paid every week for 6 months." I typed the name into Google, and the first result made my chest tight. Acting coach, youth testimonial preparation. I grabbed my car keys and drove to the courthouse at 3 a.m. and pounded on the glass door until the night clerk opened it. I shoved an emergency subpoena across his desk. "I need a judge's signature in 3 hours." At 6 a.m., a judge signed it, and within hours, she was sitting across from me and smiled. When I asked her what she does for work, she said, "I help children build confidence for difficult conversations." I slid a piece of paper across the table. "Conspiracy to commit fraud, child endangerment, 15 years in federal prison." Her smile disappeared. She picked up the paper and read it twice. When she looked up, her face was white. "The mother hired me," she whispered. "She gave me scripts, exact questions the kids would be asked. I taught them the answers, when to cry, where to pause, how to make it believable. So I told her to prove it." She rummaged through her bag and pulled out a silver thumb drive. "I record all my sessions for quality assurance so parents can review their child's progress. I was supposed to give this to the mother tomorrow. When I plugged it into my laptop, the video opened on a couch with the mother sitting between both kids. The 7-year-old was describing the garage when the mother held up her hand.